You know, it's really important that we're able to use our critical thinking skills when it comes to answering the most important questions in life. You know, one of the arguments that I hear a lot, and people will say, you know, there's a lot of people that are very convinced about their religion. They're very convinced about their God. And I guess because people are very convinced about what they believe, this will sway other people from believing one thing that they once believed. And this is why an intellectual belief is so important along with having faith. You have to have the faith, you have to have the heart belief, and you also have to have the brain. You have to have your intellectual common sense intact while believing. And this is why this gives you a whole new type of faith. It gives you a big boost in your faith when you have the scientific facts and you have all the logic pointing toward your belief along with your faith. In 1 Thessalonians 5:21, we're told to test all things and to hold to what is good. We're not told to blindly believe anything. We're told to test everything. Even Thomas had doubted God. This is one of the disciples. And although Jesus rebuked him for this, he was still shown the light. And it's okay for us to doubt even the things that we see in the Bible and to look. And once you start looking deeper, you'll find out that there are answers for these questions that you have. You search and you will find. You know, so if somebody is to tell me that, you know what, I know a lot of people that are very convinced that 2 plus 2 equals 5. I don't care how convinced another person is because I've actually done the math. I've added up 2 plus 2. And since I've done the work of actually looking at the math problem and then doing the practical assessment of it, then I already know what the answer is. So this isn't some, oh, well, I just think, or I'm just putting my hope in the answer. No, I've done the math and I see that it adds up. The reason why these other people have come with a different answer, you're going to automatically know it has to be for some kind of emotional reason, or maybe they've been deceived, maybe they've been tricked. And this is usually what you'll find in religion. When you really start seeing what other people believe, you start seeing that, you know, there's large numbers of people who believe in aliens. There's large numbers of people who even believe in vampires, all kinds of crazy things. And you'll just be surprised at the big mass numbers of people who believe in really silly things. You have large mass numbers of people in the church that believe that their pastor is some kind of apostle and that he's really healing people, even though, you know, when you're really being logical, you'll see that, you know what, you know, in the Bible, we're told that, you know, these people that had these powers to heal, they were also, you know, raising people from the dead, and they were making the lame get up, and they were making the blind see them. These people that are doing these things in the church, they're not doing any of these things. They're only doing the things that cannot be verified. So, you know, when we use our logic and we test all things, we're able to break down a lot of these other religions. We're able to see, you know what? None of these religions can match up scientifically with the world. And so, you know, like the Hindu religion, they believed that that the earth was on the top of elephants. How could anybody still be a Hindu today knowing that their holy book teaches something so crazy? And then through science, we find out it's not true. Well, this hasn't been able to be done in Christianity. You know, we're told thousands of years ago that the earth was a sphere. And now we know that the earth is a sphere. We're also told that life is made up of invisible things. And now we know about atoms and all these things. In Leviticus, people that were touching dead bodies were told to wash their hands under running water. And people didn't understand why. And now we know about germ theory and we understand these things. You know, there's so many different scientific things that match up with the Bible. And this is why we have science organizations that are completely Christian that can still run today. You're not going to see those from any other religion. If there's any holy book, You would expect it to be right about everything, not only the moral parts and not only about the history, which the Bible matches with, but also about the creation of the world and all the scientific facts. Because if the God who made the universe wrote a book, of course he's going to be right about these things. And this is what we find in the Bible. And this is why, just like that math problem, I can't be convinced by another person's conviction, because I'm not following Christianity because of what other people have told me, or because other people are very convinced. I'm following it because I've done the math myself. I've looked into it. I've taken the time to do the research. When you take the time to do the research, you're able to see, wow, nothing matches up like this. It's just as simple as that 2 + 2. God gives us his word, and through his word, we would expect truth. We see truth in history, we see truth in science, and we see truth morally. It breaks down the heart, and it cuts like a two-edged sword, and it makes you really examine yourself, and you can see, wow, through reading this word, it's like a mirror to my heart, a mirror to my soul, and I understand more and more that this is the truth of God's word. In Matthew 22:37, we're told, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and your mind. This is what a lot of people that are in the faith, they use all their heart and they use all their soul, but then they disengage their mind because they believe when they start trying to use their mind that the Bible is going to contradict. This isn't a smart thing. I would say that you're not the most stable person if you're purposely believing something that you don't know to be true. If you can't logically believe something, then don't put your faith in it. It's just not a smart thing. You shouldn't believe a lie. So search deep and you'll find out, wow, these things match up. A lot of people believe that it's crazy to believe in God. If it's crazy to believe in God, then I would say it's equally crazy to believe that the whole universe and all the complexity popped up out of nowhere from nothing at all. When do we see this happen? You don't see this happening, you never will. Do you believe you're a monkey? Some people really do. To me, I think that's crazy, and I believe it takes a lot of faith to believe that you're a monkey. If this earth was just something that popped up out of nowhere, why would we even expect it to keep going the way it does? Why would we expect such precise day and night cycles and such precise seasons? In a world that popped up out of nowhere, you wouldn't expect it to be such a organized system, the way that we can predict when stars are going to be in certain places and when comets are going to come across. All these things are like a big watch, a very precise system that has been put together and has to be held together by a mind. So, to believe that life came from nothing and that there's no kind of order or design in things and that everything has come from chance and an accident, is probably the craziest thing I could ever believe in. So I believe it makes much more sense for, everything that seems to have a purpose to be created with a purpose, because that's what it adds up to be, So I think we got to throw away our common sense to overlook these kind of things. Right here in Matthew 10:16, I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore be as shrewd, or some versions say as wise, as snakes, and innocent as doves. We're told to be wise. We're told to use our common sense. Just because other people are convinced in what they believe, it doesn't mean you can't do the math for yourself. Don't be persuaded by what other people believe, because most people don't do the homework. Most people just believe because they've been told something. Most people believe because of emotional reasons. So we have to understand that large masses of people believe things that aren't true. Look at the large mass of people who followed Hitler. Look at the large mass of people who drank the poison Kool-Aid. It's very easy to sway people's emotions and make people believe things that aren't actually doing the research. So if you want to know the answer to a math problem, you have to do the work. Look into the truth of religions. I've done it. I've looked at many different kind of religions, and there's only one that stands the test of time, stands the test of science, and stands the test of truth in history and morality. And that is the Christian faith. Something to think about.